Hey everyone, did you know your body actually has a master switch that controls your water balance? Yeah, and it's just as precise and honestly just as crucial as the thermostat in your house. Welcome to today's Explainer. Today, we're diving deep into the incredible mechanics of osmoregulation. If you're studying for your O-level biology exams, consider this your ultimate interactive whiteboard session on homeostasis and excretion. Mastering this master switch isn't just a cool biology fact. It's absolutely essential for acing your exams and, well, for your literal daily survival.
Okay, let's dive into this. Here's our roadmap for today. We'll start with the water balance master switch, move on to homeostasis and negative feedback, look at Scenario 1, conserving water, then Scenario 2, excreting water. Finally, we'll clear up some common mistakes and wrap up with a final recap. Let's get to it.
Section 1. The Water Balance Master Switch. Introducing ADH.
So, to survive, your body has to maintain the exact right concentration of water and salts in your blood, right? I mean, think about it. Too much water and your cells can literally swell up and burst. Too little and they shrivel up like raisins. So, what exactly is the master switch controlling this? The answer is the Antidiuretic Hormone, or ADH. I really want you to mentally highlight that acronym right now, ADH. Throughout this explainer, you're going to see how the levels of this one single hormone completely dictate the behavior of your entire renal system. It is the absolute core variable we'll be tracking today.
Section 2. Homeostasis and negative feedback. The body's cruise control.
Before we start tracking ADH, we really need to understand the overarching system that governs the whole thing, and that's homeostasis. Basically, this is your body's way of maintaining a totally stable internal environment. Now, take a look at the horizontal line drawn across your screen right now. That represents your set point, your ideal balance. Now watch that fluctuating wave pattern crossing above and below the line. Whenever that wave dips too low or spikes way too high, a negative feedback system kicks in to aggressively push it right back to that set point. It's exactly like the cruise control in your car or the thermostat in your living room. If the temperature drops in your house, boom, the heater kicks on to raise it back up. In biology, negative feedback always counteracts the deviation.
Okay, let's map this system out anatomically. Check out this split-screen view. On the left, we've got a zoomed-in cutaway of the brain, specifically highlighting the pituitary gland. This right here is the factory. It's where ADH is actually produced. Now, follow that glowing vector arrow pointing from the brain all the way across to the right side, landing directly on the kidneys. The kidneys are the target, so ADH travels all the way from the brain down to the kidneys to regulate water reabsorption. Brain to kidney. Seriously, keep that precise pathway locked in your mind for the exam. Moving on to Section 3, Scenario 1. Conserving water, the dehydration flowchart.
Picture this. You've just finished a long, grueling run on a sweltering hot day. You're sweating buckets, you haven't been drinking any water, and your body desperately needs to conserve whatever fluids it has left. Let's map out exactly what happens step by step. Step 1. Observe this downward red vector arrow on the flowchart. That represents a severe drop in your blood water potential. Your hypothalamus detects this drop immediately. Moving to Step 2, this triggers the pituitary gland. Notice the text here scaling up in big, bold letters. It releases more ADH. The physical amount of the hormone absolutely spikes. Now, look at this magnified insert bubble popping up for Step 3. We're zooming all the way down to the microscopic level of the kidney tubules. See those blue arrows pointing out of the tubule and back into the surrounding blood vessels? That is ADH at work, making the tubules highly permeable. Water's rushing out of the waste fluid and straight back into your bloodstream. Finally, Step 4, the macro result. Because your body is frantically pulling water back into the blood, you produce a very small volume of highly concentrated urine. You are retaining water, and the feedback loop is complete.
All right, Section 4, Scenario 2. Excreting water, the overhydration flowchart. So, let's flip the variables entirely. What happens if you sit down and just chug a full liter of water in like 5 minutes? Well, your blood suddenly becomes highly diluted. Let's look at Step 1. Notice the upward blue arrow this time? Blood water potential increases. In Step 2, the pituitary gland responds by dialing back the hormone. See the ADH label shrinking right there? Less ADH is released. Now let's check out our microview bubble for Step 3. Without those high levels of ADH, the walls of the kidney tubules thicken up, becoming way less permeable. Look at those blue arrows showing water reabsorption. They've practically shrunk to nothing. The water just stays trapped inside the kidney tubule. Which brings us to Step 4. All that excess water flows straight to your bladder, resulting in a large volume of very dilute urine. Your body successfully excretes the excess water to drop your blood potential right back down to that perfect ideal set point.
Which leads us to Section 5, Common Mistakes and Misconceptions.
ADH versus aldosterone.
Look, this right here is where students almost always lose marks on their O-level biology exams, so let's guarantee you do not make these errors. Notice the hard line dividing the screen here. On the left, we've got ADH in blue. On the right, we have aldosterone in orange. Now, both of these hormones act on your kidneys, which is exactly why it is so incredibly easy to mix them up under exam pressure. But read the labels really carefully. ADH strictly regulates water balance. Aldosterone, on the other hand, strictly regulates sodium or salt balance. Please do not cross these wires on test day. If the question asks about water potential, you are absolutely writing about ADH.
And here's the second major misconception I see all the time. ADH is not some static on and off light switch. Look at the sliding gauge animating on screen right now. ADH release is dynamic. Think of it like a volume dial that's constantly adjusting up and down moment by moment based exactly on your body's immediate needs. Remember, negative feedback is a continuous, active process of tiny micro-adjustments, not just a one-time event.
Section 6. Final recap and exam tips. Synthesizing the data.
We've covered the mechanics, the pathways, and the common pitfalls. Now let's synthesize all this data into a master matrix for your final review. I want you to take a mental snapshot of this table right here. The absolutely crucial point is understanding the inverse relationship highlighted in these columns. Let's look at the top row. Sweating. Blood water potential goes down, so ADH goes up, resulting in concentrated urine. Now check out the bottom row. Drinking a liter of water. Blood water potential goes up, so ADH goes down, resulting in dilute urine. If you can just visualize these opposing arrows and variables in your head, I promise you can answer pretty much any osmoregulation question they throw at you.
Let's do a rapid-fire recap of our core takeaways today. Number 1. Homeostasis is your cruise control. It's your internal balance system. 2. ADH is the master switch produced up in the brain that regulates water reabsorption down in the kidneys. 3. The negative feedback loop dictates this entire process, dynamically adjusting those ADH levels up or down strictly based on your blood water potential. And 4. Mastering how this macro system drives those tiny micro-changes in the kidney tubules is going to be your absolute key to exam success.
Which brings us to our final thought. Staring at these diagrams is a great first step, sure, but true mastery, that comes from active recall. So, how will you visualize and explain the ADH negative feedback loop in your own words for your next exam? My challenge to you, as soon as this explainer ends, grab a blank piece of paper, draw the brain, draw the kidney, and try mapping out those two flowcharts with your own arrows and labels. If you can draw it, you know it. Thank you so much for joining me for this deep dive into osmoregulation. Keep that internal environment perfectly balanced, and I'll see you in the next explainer.